Today we are making a bubble tea cake that has bubbles on the inside too. How cool is this? Oh my goodness. So let's get started. So first we're gonna make the cake base. Obviously, we're gonna be adding some butter and sugar, beat it together. And of course, my little guest is never far. The second he hears my hand mixer turn on, he comes running. And then we're gonna add some vanilla extract and then some eggs, one at a time, beating with each addition. Then in a separate bowl, we're going to mix our dry ingredients together, which is flour, baking soda, and salt. And then we're gonna add that to the cake batter in 2 additions, alternating with some sour cream. The sour cream is gonna make it so yummy and moist. I love this cake recipe so much. And then I'm gonna take about a cup or cup and a half of batter and dye it black. I know that this looks like a lot of black food coloring, but we want it to be quite dark because this is what we're going to make the tapioca out of. And then I'm spinning that into a greased, honestly, I don't know if greasing it was necessary, but this is a little silicone cake pop mold. So I'm just filling the mold, putting the lid on top because this is gonna like make sure that they dome correctly when they rise, and baking it in the oven for 20 minutes. And then we're gonna get the rest of the batter and we are going to dye it pink. So I tried to be clever and lately that has been backfiring. So I added some freeze-dried raspberry powder, which is absolutely delicious, but I added way too much and that is not the color of pink bubble tea, not even close. So I tried adding some pink food coloring and then we just remade it. And now we're gonna take some 6-inch cake pans, pour just a smidgen of batter onto the base, and then we're gonna fill 2 pans with our little tapioca balls. And spoon just enough cake batter to cover them. You don't wanna add too much, you just wanna add just enough. So 2 pans are gonna be filled with like the little tapioca cakes, and then the final pan, because we're just using 3 pans, is gonna be like the plain cake. And so now that they're fully cooked, I'm just gonna trim off the tiniest amount so that they are basically flat. They don't need to be perfect because we're gonna fill in all the crevices with buttercream. And if you actually wanna make some bubble tea at home, I have a recipe for it, including like how to boil the tapioca and everything. So I'll link it in the cards and I'll pin it in a comment so that you guys can check it out too. So now we need to make the buttercream. So I'm taking the butter and every time I just like chuck the whole thing of butter in there. I always just feel really awkward about it. But we're gonna cream the butter, add some vanilla extract, and add our confectioner's sugar. And so we're adding just some pink food coloring and then some raspberry just to kind of give it the same tone as the cake because I want everything to be the same color. And then I am layering them. So both cakes with tapioca go on the bottom and then the plain just pink fully cake is going on top. And then I'm gonna carve it just so that it looks like a more kind of like tapered shape at the base. And then I cover the entire cake in a thin layer of buttercream. This is called a crumb coat, so it's gonna get all the crumbs and kind of like stick them onto the cake so that when you're putting the final coating of buttercream on top, as you can see I'm doing now, you don't see any crumbs coming through. They're all like stuck to that first layer. And for the straw, the base is going to be an actual straw. So I'm just gonna stick that into the cake and then I'm gonna take the buttercream and dye it purple. So we're gonna pop it into a piping bag that has a very large round piping tip. And then you can kind of see we are sticking the straw into that piping bag and then piping upwards. I tripled the speed of this video so you can see how slow and carefully I was going, although I kind of like missed the mark at the end, but you know, we're trying. You guys know how much I detest fondant, so I refuse to use fondant in this recipe. And then we're gonna take the rest of the buttercream and add some black food coloring to make the little tapioca. Pop it into a piping bag with the same size tip as we used for the straw and pipe little bubbles all around the cake. And the moment of truth, look, they're on the inside. Honestly, you guys, I had this idea for years. I'm so excited that I finally made it. I love y'all so much for watching and I will see you guys on Saturday for a new video. Bye!